Yeah, I said it ain't no running. I'm really dropping the pain. The famous back in the game. You better walk away. No running. I really do what I do. I'm breaking just like the news.
All right, chat, everybody. We're watching the year in review, WWE in 2019 documentary, 17-minute video. Let's react to it, man. If I could.
2019 was a huge year in pop culture, as not only did we have the grand finale of an 11-year saga when Avengers Endgame broke the box office, but we also saw the finale to Game of Thrones. Meanwhile, over in the world of wrestling, we saw women rise to heights we had never seen before, all while a longtime fan favorite underdog finally got his shot at the big time. But how did it all happen? Well, join us today as we take a deep dive into the entire story from start to finish.
Oh yeah, KofiMania too. Why did I forget
about
that?
In review.
Freaking Roman as
when we last left
champ.
off, Brock Lesnar was Universal Champion on Raw.
Brock Lesnar was Universal Champ. Daniel Bryan was WWE Champ. Oh. What was the high point on Raw tonight? I don't know. It wasn't really a lot of high points. The low point was Zoe Stark freaking tore her ACL again. So that was like one of the low points. I guess a high point is Roxanne winning her Money in the Bank match. So that was cool. Other than that, everything else is kind of like basic. Yeah, everything else is kind of basic. So, but yeah, we're watching this video, year in review 2019. So we just started it. So
Daniel Bryan was WWE champion over on SmackDown, and elsewhere on the same brand, Becky Lynch was undergoing a meteoric rise towards the main event scene. But before we deal with any of that in 2019, we first have to venture over to developmental because
look at
NXT
Tony
UK
Storm
take over Blackpool on January 12th,
bro,
the show which saw Pete Dunne defend the United Kingdom
Mountain,
title against Joe
Pete
Kofi,
Dunne.
and Tony Storm defeat Rhea Ripley to become the new UK Women's
Tony Storm
Champion.
beat Rhea Ripley to be the UK
and that was
championship.
because of Takeover Phoenix
See, I didn't
on
watch
January 26th.
Look at Ciampa, man.
Ciampa and Shayna Baszler successfully defended
Ciampa and Shayna Baszler as NXT champions, bro. Take me back. Take me back right now. Take me back right now. Tommaso Ciampa and Shayna Baszler as NXT champions in 2019. I told y'all this was 2019 was the year for NXT for sure, because they already just promoted NXT UK. Then you got regular NXT. And we all know how that ended at the end of the year. So, but yeah, man.
World titles against Aleister Black and Bianca Belair, respectively. But Matt Riddle would move up the ladder with a win over Cassius Ohno. So this left the main roster with big shoes to fill the following night of the Royal Rumble then. And it appears they were well aware of this because in the undercard of a packed show, The Miz and Shane McMahon won the SmackDown Tag Team titles from the Bar.
I remember that
fended off the challenge of Sasha Banks in the Raw Women's title bout.
She beat Sasha Banks. Why did I hey, all right. She beat Sasha Banks, all right.
Then, following that, the two men's world titles were put on the line when Daniel Bryan got the better of AJ Styles, and Brock Lesnar did likewise with Finn Balor. But of course,
man, see, this was when Finn Balor was like, I think he just came back from like his surgery and stuff too, from the Universal title. Yeah, Finn was like, I don't know, he was like slowly getting back into things. So then they had him fight Seth for like the IC title and stuff, I think.
Neither of these bouts were what people had on their minds after the show, because in the real main events, Seth Rollins lasted for 43 minutes to win the men's rumble, and Becky Lynch finally got her due when she last eliminated Charlotte Flair to win the women's.
Yeah.
And that then meant the only question left was, who would she choose to challenge at WrestleMania? Well, as it happened, fans wouldn't have to wait long to find this out because the very next night on Raw, Lynch came out to confront Ronda Rousey and stake her claim at the belt.
Yeah.
Yes, it was the match everyone wanted after having been robbed of it the November prior. But before this story could develop any further, it was back to NXT, as on February 2nd,
Look
the
at
World's Collide
Johnny
show pitted the
freaking
black and gold.
Look at the. Before Dakota, look at them, man. Look at them, bro. 6 years later. 6 years later, totally different. EO is the champ. Kairi Sane just came back. Everything is good, bro. Everything is good, bro. And then you had Johnny freaking wrestling as the North American champion. Man, bro, I'm telling you, 2019 was the days of NXT, bro. Husband and wife won the Royal Rumble and became champions. Facts.
As on February 2nd, the World's Collide show pitted the Black and Gold brand, their UK counterpart, and 205 Live against each other.
Oh my God, Lucha House Party. Yo, I forgot about Lucha House Party, bro. Got freaking Kalisto and El Dorado. Wait, I think his name was El Dorado. Luce Dorado. My bad. I said El Dorado. Luce Dorado. But yeah.
Other in a tournament which was eventually won by the Velveteen Dream.
Velveteen Dream.
When he beat
right,
Tyler Bate.
Let me try and stop pausing my
in the
bad.
finals. And with that now over, things could return to the main roster where, on February 17th, they held Elimination Chamber. And here, two major moments occurred, as not only did Sasha Banks and Bayley become the inaugural women's tag team champions, but KofiMania was...
Oh yeah, that did happen in 2019. And then KofiMania was starting because freaking...
born. Why?
Because Mustafa Ali got hurt.
Was Kofi Kingston so popular all of a sudden? Well, in the main event WWE title match held inside of the titular chamber, it was originally supposed to be Daniel Bryan defending against AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, and Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
That said, once Ali got a legit injury days prior to the bout, it meant Kofi would have to be subbed in as a last-minute replacement instead.
Yep.
And what a great decision this turned out to be, because it was here the New Day member put on an absolutely star-making performance, one so good that come the end of it, Vince McMahon was forced to change his WrestleMania plans. That's right, despite losing the bout, Kofi got so over during it that the original WWE title match at the Showcase of the Immortals between Bryan and Kevin Owens was scrapped, with Kingston being inserted as the new challenger instead. And he wasn't the only one being inserted into a title match at the last minute, as over on Raw, following Becky Lynch's kayfabe knee injury, she was removed from the planned Ronda Rousey contest and instead replaced with Charlotte Flair. Not that the man...
Stupid. Stupid. Dumb. Stupid.
Was ready to go down so easy, though. No, in one last gasp attempt to re-secure her spot, she'd challenge the Queen at March 10th's Fastlane with the stipulation.
That was crazy. Vince put them in a whole tag team gauntlet. Bro, facts. They put the New Day in a whole tag team gauntlet just so Kofi could go to WrestleMania and fight for the WWE Championship. That was crazy. The New Day was hanging on a thread, then the Usos was like, hey man, we quit, bro.
Being that if she could win, then the whole thing would become a triple threat. And win she most certainly did here, though not without a little help from Rousey herself, of course. But why would the baddest woman on the planet want to add Lynch to the match?
Hit Brock Lesnar's
because she
music.
still had unfinished business.
That was
with
a
her.
blessing.
Elsewhere on the card, meanwhile, the Boss and Hug Connection defended their women's tag team titles against Nia Jax and Tamina. The Miz and Shane McMahon came to blows after losing the SmackDown tag team titles to the Usos, and following his return to action, the now cancer-free Roman Reigns.
I forgot this was the year for this too. Dang, I forgot this was the year for this too. Dang. I forgot all about this too. Man, cause yeah, like I said, this was the year that Seth Rollins was carrying the company on his back. Cause I forgot Roman was out with the whole cancer thing. And then Roman came back, and it really wasn't the same until he came back in 2021, and we all know how that ended. Well, started. So, but yeah,
reunited with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins to take on Drew
yeah.
McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, and Baron Corbin.
That match was
Unfortunately, though,
trash.
this would be the last time Ambrose appeared on a WWE pay-per-view because, as a result of him neglecting to sign a new contract, he'd be gone by the time the summer came around. Still,
Yeah.
at least the Shield would continue to dominate Raw for a while. All while over on SmackDown, Kofi Kingston was completing his set of trials in order to make sure he got his shot at the American Dragon. And that would lead us into WrestleMania weekend,
Aleister
a weekend
Black.
which started off strong when on April 5th,
Adam
TakeOver New
Cole,
York took place.
baby.
Yes, this one didn't go as originally planned, as it was supposed to first see the blow-off to the Johnny Gargano-Tommaso Ciampa feud following Gargano's return to the side of light. But that wasn't meant to be in the end, because in the days leading up to the show, the Blackheart picked up a serious neck injury, and so had to vacate the
That
NXT
sucked.
World title.
Yeah, that sucked. That sucked. But this was, boy, I paused that at a good time. This was also the year of these guys right here, baby. This man that's on my freaking wall back there. Hold on, let me change. This man that's on my wall back there. Adam Cole, baby. Boom. Yes, sir. The Undisputed Era had all the gold in 2019, bro. Fantastic on NXT. Fantastic. And it didn't work. All right, there we go.
So at the last minute, Adam Cole was added to the mix as both he and Johnny Wrestling battled it out over the now vacant title. And this ended up being a blessing in disguise because the two had one of the best matches of the year here. A match which ended up with the babyface finally getting the big win. Elsewhere on the show, meanwhile, not only would Aleister Black and Ricochet get a proper NXT standoff when they were defeated by the War Raiders, but Walter...
First ever group to have all the titles in NXT. Probably the only group... Oh, excuse me. Probably the only group to have all the titles in NXT. Because, man. Yes, sir. Look at freaking Walter, bro. This match right here slapped as well. Pete Dunne and Walter. Bro, I told y'all, man, this was a good year. This was a good year for WWE, bro. All around, this was a great year for WWE.
would end Pete Dunne's 685-day reign as United Kingdom champion after a top-heavy war.
days.
Yes, it was a hell of a show, and this momentum would continue on into the next night, too, as new Hall of Fame inductees D-Generation X, the Honky Tonk Man, and Tori Wilson all got their moments in the spotlight. Then the night after this, it was time for the grand finale as a mammoth 7-hour-long WrestleMania 35 started off with Seth Rollins making short work of Brock Lesnar to become the new Universal Champion. Following that, the Usos finally got a main card WrestleMania spot. Shane McMahon beat The Miz in a Falls Count Anywhere match, and the Iconics shocked the world by defeating the Boss and Hug Connection, Nia Jax and Tamina, and Beth Phoenix and Natalya to become the new Women's Tag Team Champions. But that was far from the end of the night because next, arguably, the emotional highlight took place when the power of KofiMania overcame the odds as Kofi Kingston pinned Daniel Bryan to win the WWE title.
Yes, sir.
And while this would have been enough for one WrestleMania alone, it still didn't stop things from carrying on for a while yet, as once Roman Reigns beat Drew McIntyre and Triple H gave Batista the retirement match he'd been craving for years, Baron Corbin put Kurt Angle out to pasture.
Man, both of those matches
Finn Balor won the Intercontinental title from Bobby Lashley, all before the main event took stage when, for the first time ever, the women headlined the biggest show of the year. Yes, many at the time wanted to see a one-on-one match between the biggest babyface in the company, Becky Lynch, and the biggest mainstream star, Ronda Rousey, but after winning the SmackDown Women's title in the weeks leading up to the show, Charlotte Flair entered the mix too. Not that it mattered much in the end though, because once it was over, the man got the pinfall over Rousey to become both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion, in a moment which echoed the big Daniel Bryan win from 5 years prior. And it's just as well this happened because, with the company now losing the Shield, they needed a big-time moment to carry them through the rest of the spring. That's right, time had finally come up on Dean Ambrose's contract, and so, after a special The Shield's Final Chapter show on April 21st, he'd exit stage right. And this all led us into Money in the
He
Bank
went to
on May 19th.
AEW. And he went to AEW and just started bleeding all over the place, catch up and stuff, man. And now he's holding AEW hostage, bro. I ain't gonna cap. He's holding AEW hostage. At least from what I know. He got the championship, the Death Riders, all this other stuff. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
A show where Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins both managed to keep hold of their men's world titles against Kevin Owens and AJ Styles, respectively.
Indeed.
As for Becky Lynch, however, while she'd only get half lucky, as well she did successfully defend her Raw Women's title against Lacey Evans, she would lose her SmackDown one to Charlotte Flair. That said, Flair's reign proved to be short-lived too, because after winning the Women's Money in the Bank contract earlier in the night, Bayley would cash in here and take the title home for herself. Meanwhile,
Bayley
in the men's
winning Money in the Bank
match, it was Brock Lesnar who came out on top.
I remember this. Oh my God, bro. That's hilarious. I remember this, man. I wish they would have showed what happened at the Money in the Bank. He wasn't even at it, though. Made me mad. Facts, bro. I wish they would have showed what happened at the Money in the Bank, because like Mustafa Ali was right there, and then Brock Lesnar music hit, and somehow Brock Lesnar got into the match and he won. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, it happened. Brock carrying that Money in the Bank like a boombox. Saddest part is I wasn't there for the WWE in 2019. I saw clips of this stuff and it made me laugh. He had to ruin it, bro. Man, it was so bad, bro. It was so bad. Like Brock Lesnar didn't need to win Money in the Bank or anything, and Vince was just like, "No, go out there and get it. Go out there and get it." I'm like, come on, man. They could have gave Mustafa Ali like his opportunity, you know what I'm saying? Because it was originally his opportunity anyway, but he got hurt. So, you know, Brock didn't need to win that, bro. And now he won back the Universal title. Yeah, stupid. Well, no, he didn't even win the Universal title. They'll show it at the end. You'll remember it.
With this giving him a title shot anytime he chose to cash it in. And while he was weighing up his options then, over on NXT, the developmental brand was preparing for June 1st TakeOver 25, a show which, when it eventually
Velveteen Dream is North American champ.
Dream won a North American title match against Tyler Breeze.
Extreme Rules?
Shayna
No, it
Baszler
wasn't
submit
Extreme
Io
Rules.
Shirai in the women's title bout.
Shayna Baszler
Cole
beat
finally
Io Shirai.
reached
Look
the
at
top of the mountain
the
himself when he beat
boys.
Johnny Gargano to become the new NXT World
Look
Champion.
at the
And after this, we
boys.
saw WWE
Goldberg.
Super Showdown live from Jeddah, with this card giving us Randy Orton versus Triple H, Shane McMahon versus Roman Reigns, and Goldberg almost permanently end The Undertaker when he executed a botched jackknife powerbomb on him. So, at least things got better.
Terrible. I remember that. Terrible. Bro, I remember like when they first started doing like Super Showdown and like Crown Jewel and stuff at Saudi Arabia, and they had those like few like first matches with the Brothers of Destruction against like D-Generation X. And that match was terrible because Triple H tore his quad, and like Undertaker almost died literally. Then you had Goldberg and freaking Undertaker, and y'all saw what just happened.
Undertaker when he executed
Like,
a botched
bro,
jackknife
crazy.
powerbomb on him. Still, at least things got better once the company returned home, as at June
I hate
23rd,
and also I hated this too. Shane McMahon winning that like what was it, the WWE World Cup, because they were making a stunt for CM Punk, because CM Punk was out of the WWE. I think CM Punk was in UFC at this time, and CM Punk is called the best in the world. So they made a WWE World Cup, and they had Shane McMahon win. And every time Shane McMahon would come out, he would have them call him the best in the world, Shane McMahon. And it started to run, and it started to make me sick, bro. Like, it was crazy. I'm not even a CM Punk fan like that, but it was it was crazy, bro. It was starting to get annoying.
Stomping grounds, Roman got a win over Drew McIntyre. Kofi Kingston racked up another title defense over Dolph Ziggler.
Kayla
Bayley
Braxton,
defeated Alexa
man,
Bliss. Becky Lynch defeated Lacey Evans. And in the main event, Seth Rollins retained his Universal title in a match against Baron Corbin, where Lacey Evans was the special guest referee.
That was stupid.
Then on July 14th, Extreme Rules, we saw Becky and her real-life fiance Seth Rollins take on both Lacey and Baron Corbin in a mixed tag team match.
That was dumb. They faced Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans in a tag team match, and the winner get both titles. That was stupid.
In a show that also gave us Kofi Kingston get a big win over Samoa Joe, the Revival retained their Raw tag team titles against the Usos. The Undertaker have his last ever live in-ring match when he teamed with Roman Reigns to beat Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. And Brock Lesnar
What kind of retirement? Bro, I ain't gonna lie. WWE been... So I'm hoping that they don't do that with John Cena's match. I really hope that they don't do that with John Cena's retirement match. Because over the last few years, for WWE with retirement matches, bro, they've been kind of trash. They had the Kurt Angle retirement match with Baron Corbin at Mania. Then we just saw Undertaker's retirement match with Roman Reigns, the dude that ended his streak, against Shane McMahon and who did they say? Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre. Kind of retirement matches that, and then we had before Edge went over to AEW, we had Edge versus freaking Sheamus. Like, bro, I hope they don't mess up like John Cena retirement match and stuff, bro. Cause for the last few years with the retirement matches, bro, in WWE, they've been terrible.
Teamed with Roman Reigns to beat Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre.
I thought Undertaker retired in 2020 against AJ. That's what I thought too, but apparently they said his last. No, hey, Jordan, I'm glad you just said that. They said Undertaker's last in-ring match. The Undertaker last match against AJ wasn't in-ring. It was a cinema match. Yeah, it was a cinema match. I just thought about it. Yeah, it was a cinematic match. So technically they're right.
And Brock Lesnar ended the night by successfully cashing in his Money in the Bank contract on the Architect to become the new Universal Champion. That's right, Brock was back on top.
That match was better than his
retirement
match.
But while this was divisive, something most fans could agree was great was the series of Firefly Funhouse segments Bray Wyatt had been putting out over on Raw as he gradually began teasing the arrival of a terrifying new incarnation.
Fiend.
Before this incarnation would be revealed, however, a SmackDown special entitled Smackville took place in Nashville on July 27th and saw Shinsuke Nakamura defend his Intercontinental title against Mustafa Ali and Kevin Owens make short work of Elias. Then once that was out of the way, it was onwards to SummerSlam weekend where, before the big show itself came around, NXT held TakeOver Toronto on August 10th. And
bro, hold on. This is when EO first turned heel. See, this EO run when she first turned heel wasn't NXT all of that, but eventually it led to what EO is now. And yeah, this is when EO first turned heel. Y'all don't remember this, bro. When EO first turned heel, I wasn't rocking with it, but she had like the new music and stuff, bro. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I like this. I like this a lot. Heel EO was crazy, bro. Like the beginning heel EO was kind of eh, but like over the time, yeah.
Held TakeOver Toronto on August 10th. And on this show, not only did a newly heel Io Shirai show everyone
Look
how
at
it
her,
was done
man.
when she beat Candice LeRae, but 4 titles would be successfully defended
Look
when
at the Street
Street Profits beat the
Profits,
Undisputed
man.
Era. The Velveteen Dream got the better of Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. Shayna Baszler tapped out Mia Yim, and in a 2 out of 3 falls encounter, Adam Cole bested Johnny Gargano by a score of 2-1.
I watch that match all the time.
Well, we'd find out the following evening, as in front of a packed crowd at the Scotiabank Arena, things started off strong when Becky Lynch retained her Raw Women's title during a hard-fought battle against Natalya. After that, Goldberg attempted to recover from his poor showing in Saudi with a quick win over Dolph Ziggler, and Bayley defeated Ember Moon to keep hold of her SmackDown Women's title. But that wasn't even close to the highlight of the night, as once Kevin Owens got a win over Shane McMahon, Trish Stratus made her return to the ring in order to put on a great match against Charlotte Flair, with this maybe even being Trish's greatest ever in-ring performance. And when this was over, in the first of 3 main events, Kofi Kingston successfully slayed the Dragon of Randy Orton in order to keep the WWE title around his waist, and in his in-ring debut, Bray Wyatt's new incarnation.
Oh, what a year for WWE, man. What a year. Fantastic year, bro. The Fiend showing up at SummerSlam in 2019. Oh my God, bro. Fantastic. Rest in
Fiend
peace,
stole the
Bray
show
Wyatt again,
when he
man.
demolished Finn Balor and sent him packing back to NXT. Then following that, the
I
show's closer
forgot
saw
that,
Seth
bro. I forgot that Finn lost and went back to NXT. I forgot about that. Finn, bro. Finn lost and they sent him back to NXT and he feuded against I think it was Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, I think. If I remember right. That was crazy. He cut his hair, was ugly. Great, the song is back in my head. Rest in peace, Bray. Yeah. Man.
Rollins regained the Universal title from Brock Lesnar in a great match that
That
lasted
was
just
crazy.
over 13 minutes. And this win painted a target on Seth's back again going forward, because over the next few weeks, Braun Strowman would emerge as the next challenger to the Architect's crown.
Braun Strowman. So
Of course, Rollins
2019 was also the year that Braun Strowman became a star. Yeah. It was kind of like in between like 2017, 2018, 2019. But 2019 was, if I remember right, I believe it was 2019. Yeah, 2019 was where Braun Strowman was on the up and up and he became a star. So yeah.
Strowman wouldn't face off against each other quite yet, though. No, well, they were busy winning the tag team titles together over on Raw in NXT.
They should have brought this version back to fight Jacob Fatu. Like, am I right? Oh yeah, you most definitely right. Yeah, you're most definitely right. But before Braun Strowman got released, they most definitely should have, like, I don't know, tried to get Braun Strowman to bring back like some of his like older stuff. I'm talking to a dude who lifts a truck. Facts. Like Braun used to lift trucks and slam cars. I'm not finished with you, but I'm get like, I guess like Braun is like, I don't know, but. Yeah, I agree with you. They should have brought back like that version of Braun, but look at Tyler Bate, man.
The UK TakeOver Cardiff was taking place on August 31st. And there, after Cesaro and Ilya Dragunov had a fantastic showing, and Walter put on a match of the year contender against Tyler Bate, 2 new champions would be crowned when Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster won the tag team belts.
Dang,
then Kaylee Ray beat Toni
Kaylee
Storm to become
Ray.
women's champ.
If y'all don't know, that's Alba Fire. Yeah, for all the new WWE fans, that's Alba Fire. She was once known as Kaylee Ray. I think she was the longest reigning UK champion. Yeah, I'm like, she was the longest reigning UK champion at one point, bro. And now you look at her and she's with Chelsea Green. So, yeah. What happened? What happened? So, yeah.
And after this, we saw the Clash of Champions pay-per-view on September 15th. With the main event here being Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman for the Universal title, where the champ retained, and the undercard giving us some great matches as we saw Bayley get the win over Charlotte Flair during the SmackDown Women's title match, and a newly heel Sasha Banks do the same over Becky Lynch in the Raw one. That said, as this latter victory happened via disqualification, the man kept her title, just as Shinsuke Nakamura did when he put his Intercontinental belt up for grabs against The Miz. And the same could be said for Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross too, when they defended their women's tag team titles against Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville.
Titles, however, well, the incoming champs wouldn't fare as well because after a 10-minute war, the New Day ended up losing to the Revival. And that would only be the beginning of the stable's woes as it happened because just a few weeks later, on October 4th's 20th anniversary episode of SmackDown, KofiMania came to a crushing end in the worst way possible when Kofi Kingston was defeated by Brock Lesnar in just 8 seconds.
Man. Man, still to this day, bro. I remember they were hyping up because this was when they first moved. FU Vince. Rest in peace, KofiMania. They pissed me off. I turned off my TV, bro. Listen. Because I remember they were hyping this SmackDown up like crazy because this was the first SmackDown that they moved to Fox. So they were hyping it up like crazy. And they're like, oh, we're moving to Fox. Fox is going to be our new network, blah, 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 stuff like that. Then the very first match, you have Kofi lose to Brock Lesnar in 9 seconds. I remember I was hype as crap, bro. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, let's go. And then that's the first thing I see on the show. Kofi Kingston losing to Brock Lesnar, man. That was... Oh, that hurt my heart, bro. That was crazy.
And this sense of fan frustration would build even further when, at October 6th,
oh no!
Bray Wyatt would take on Seth Rollins.
Oh no! Oh no! All right, yeah. Now we spiraling out of control now.
The worst cell match of all time.
Yeah, this was.
But at least it wasn't all bad here. No, in the undercard, things fared better as there. Not only did Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks have a banger inside of the cage, but Daniel Bryan cemented his new face turn by teaming up with Roman Reigns to take on Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. But as the American Dragon was shifting to the side of the good guys once
worst
more,
match of
over on
2019.
Raw, Bayley was going in the opposite direction. And that's because after choosing to align herself with her old friend Sasha Banks again, she suddenly found herself a heel for the first time. Of course,
yeah,
that was in the long run, though, because it allowed her to.
Yep, that was okay. So that I forgot that's how Bayley turned heel. She turned heel with Sasha. I forgot how she turned heel. I remember this night when she came out with the new haircut and stuff, and then she tore down the Bayley buddies. But I forgot that she like turned heel with Sasha first, and then she came out and like tore the Bayley buddies up. But yeah, this worked out. This worked out a lot. They had 4 belts, facts. They was running 2020, bro. They were the MVPs. Like, it was crazy.
To shake things up right when she needed to the most. It's just a shame she wouldn't get to show what she could do at the next big show of the year then, because even if the women were going to have a match in Saudi for the first time at October 31st's Crown Jewel, the role model wouldn't be involved in this. No, instead that honor would go to Lacey Evans and Natalya in a history-making moment. Elsewhere on that card, Brock Lesnar beat UFC star Cain Velasquez in a one-shot appearance.
Terrible. That was another terrible match, bro. Why did that need to happen, bro? I get it. It's Cain Velasquez, and y'all want to like redo the little rivalry thing with Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez, but that was a terrible match, bro. Because Cain Velasquez don't wrestle. So like. They were trying, and then Tyson Fury versus Braun Strowman. Yeah, stupid. Like, those were some stupid matches, bro. Because you tried, like I said, you tried to redo the rivalry with Cain Velasquez and Brock Lesnar from UFC, but it didn't work because Brock Lesnar actually knew how to wrestle. Cain Velasquez didn't. Then you brought in Rey Mysterio and I think Dominic at the time, and that didn't work either. So I don't know. That was weird. And then the Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman match. I understand why they did that because at the time Tyson Fury was, the big like superstar boxer at the time, and they were in Saudi Arabia, so he was known in Saudi Arabia at the time. But like, I don't know, they were doing a lot. Tyson too big to fight someone that's not his size. He should have focused on Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder lost, so that they didn't want to bring in Deontay Wilder, and he lost to freaking Tyson Fury. So but Mansoor, I forgot about Mansoor, bro. Now, Mansoor. See, this was the only time that WWE used Mansoor was when they were in Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel and Super Showdown. That was the only time that they used Mansoor for anything. So that way he can get a cheap pop from his home country or whatever, and they didn't use him at all for anything else until he got into the maximum male models, which he's still doing today. So yeah, my first time knowing him was when he won the Battle Royal. That's what I'm saying. They didn't use him for anything else except the Saudi Arabia shows, just to get some pops. That's it.
Town win over Cesaro. Tyson Fury scored a victory during his boxer versus wrestler match against Braun Strowman, and in the main event, The Fiend ended Seth Rollins' 81-day reign with the Universal title. After the show, however, the big story wasn't that there was a new champion. No, it was that the plane carrying most of the wrestlers back to America for SmackDown would be delayed.
Yes. I remember this now. Yes, this was a good thing. It was terrible. It was terrible at the time because all the wrestlers were stuck in Saudi Arabia. But this was a good thing, and this is what led up to Survivor Series. I remember this now. This was fantastic.
And this meant that due to the roster being severely depleted, SmackDown would see a huge number of NXT.
Look at the talent up in here, man. Look at the talent up in here. My face is covering some of it. But you got Tommaso. You got Keith Lee. You got, I think that's Dakota Kai behind Bianca. You got Dakota Kai right here. That's Tegan Knox. My bad. That's Tegan Knox. You got Dakota. You got Bianca right here. Lio Rush as cruiserweight champion. You got Cruz del Toro. I think that's Joaquin Wild. Wild if I remember right. And then who is this dude? That's not Velveteen Dream, is it? I don't think that's Velveteen Dream. But then you got a young Rhea Ripley right here. You can't see her face because my face is blocking it. You got Matt Riddle in the back. You got Pat McAfee back here. You got Roderick Strong right here. And then you got Adam Cole, Bebe right here. Oh, that's Cruz del Toro? Okay, I was right the first time. But yeah, bro, NXT was stacked around. Oh, that's Swerve? Bro, that makes it even better, bro. You got Swerve right here. Bro, this roster was stacked and nobody knew it. Bro, this NXT roster was stacked and nobody knew it, bro. It was crazy. Man, take me back.
Superstars get called up en masse for one night only, with this episode giving us some great action, including matches like Tommaso Ciampa versus The Miz, Rhea Ripley and Tegan Knox versus Fire and Desire, and the NXT champion Adam Cole defeating Daniel Bryan in the main event. I remember that match too. And luckily, this would play well into the next pay-per-view because with Survivor Series coming up on November 24th, was all about brand supremacy.
Yes,
so after TakeOver War Games took place on the 23rd, and saw not only Team...
I was there. I was there at this one. This was the the first and only NXT show that I've been to, and it ended up being NXT War Games, and this was a fantastic show. I'm still happy that I was able to go to this show. This was a fantastic show.
Team Ripley stand victorious over Team Baszler, but Team Ciampa get the win over the Undisputed Era in the 2 titular cage matches. The next night, Survivor Series saw the Black and Gold brand be put over great as North American champion Roderick Strong scored a victory over U.S. champion AJ Styles and Intercontinental champion Shinsuke Nakamura.
NXT almost swept everybody.
NXT Women's champion Shayna Baszler put down both Raw Women's champion Becky Lynch and SmackDown Women's champion Bayley. Elsewhere, meanwhile,
NXT
all 3
almost
men's world
swept
titles were successfully defended when Adam Cole beat Pete Dunne, Brock Lesnar demolished Rey Mysterio, and The Fiend put an end to the threat of Daniel Bryan. But while that would be the last appearance of The Fiend on pay-per-view this year, it wouldn't be the last we'd see of Wyatt himself, as after another Starrcade special and a tribute to the Troops show, December 15th saw TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs emanate live from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And there, after briefly reverting back to his Mr. Rogers-style children's television host persona, the Universal Champion beat The Miz in just under 7 minutes. Then, once that was done, Aleister Black left his dark room to face off against Buddy Murphy, Bobby Lashley,
fantastic, and Rusev. Bro. If this is another one of those matches that I think we all need to like go back and watch.
Aleister Black left his
Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy at TLC in 2019. I don't know which one was better though, like because they had a match on Raw and then they had this one. So I can't really tell like which match was better. But I know for sure that this match was good too. But yeah, I would recommend y'all go watch this match. This match was good. And the funny thing about it was that what it led to in the future, because this match was fire. Then Aleister went to AEW first. Buddy followed Aleister the year after. And then they were in House of Black. And now Aleister is back in WWE. So yeah, I think it worked out well, man. Fantastic match though.
Against Buddy Murphy, Bobby Lashley and Rusev took their feud over Lana to pay-per-view, and Roman Reigns ate his last loss in years at the hands of Baron Corbin. Then over on NXT on December 18th, Rhea Ripley would dethrone
this was crazy too.
To win the brands
because I swear I did not think that Shayna Baszler was ever gonna lose. Look at Von Wagner. Is that Von Wagner?
Women's title.
I can't tell. Is this Von Wagner? This look like Von Wagner, bro. If this is Von Wagner, then I don't know. This look like that is Von Wagner. Oh, look at Von Wagner. Dog, look at Von Wagner. This dude right here too. I thought he was gonna be cold in NXT, but they never gave him a chance. Yeah, they never gave him a chance. I think he's in MLW now, if I remember right. But yeah, they never gave him a chance. That's Odyssey Jones. No, that's not Odyssey Jones. Wait, where is Odyssey Jones? Where you see Odyssey Jones at? Yeah, that's not Odyssey Jones. But yeah, seeing Shayna Baszler lose to Rhea Ripley, I thought that Shayna Baszler was gonna hold that title for a good minute, but apparently they had other plans and brought her up to the main roster, and we know how that went. So,
in a moment that helped take her career to the next level. That's right, this was the first major sign that Rhea was going to be a major player in WWE and someone to keep an eye on for the following decade. Yes, things were certainly looking up for the future of WWE.
Yep, and as we saw tonight on Monday Night Raw, they still pushing Rhea to the moon. That was in 2019, 6 years later, still pushing Rhea to the moon like crazy. So yeah, I'm not hating on Rhea though. Rhea deserved it though. You said you never forgot that match? Yeah.
After all, not only was the main roster looking strong with some great main event talent, but NXT was giving us the stars of tomorrow. Little did we know at the time, though, things were about to be shaken up in a major way the very next year.
Hey man, fire. That's a fire video, man. I enjoyed that a lot. Bro. W video. We gonna have to do more reactions like this, bro. We got to do more reactions like this. That's dumb. If you break your control. There we go, baby. Right there.